If you have questions, concerns, and are just lost when it comes to planning for retirement, meet Steve Hoyle and Derrick Caldwell of the Hoyle Financial Group. Listen, I know the market was doing well in 2024. It's doing great here seemingly in the beginning of 2025. And then again, yes, now we have President Trump saying he's going to do all these things to make the economy, the market, the biggest and best it's ever been. And hearing somebody as powerful as President Trump is, say that, it's really easy to go, he said it, so let it be written, let it be done, only put the blinders on and not have that plan B or C. But that's not the way to go.
No, well, Jess, I think people need to realize in the market what goes up can come down. People forget about 2008, that people's entire retirement was totally wiped out. I've talked about this on the show for years, but I had a gentleman that come to see us and he was retiring. And we told him how you dollar cost average in the market, that you need to dollar cost average out of the market, say over 12 months, or if you're going to retire in 6 months, so you don't come right up on that day to retire and the market drop and it wipe you out. He wouldn't do that. He was an engineer. He had overthought it. He panicked the day that 08 fell. He was retiring within a week or two. He cashed in that day. And Jess, he worked 5 more years at his job that he didn't want to, just to get back where he could retire in his mind. So I'm just going to tell you, good planning, having a plan, having a written plan. Did you fail to plan or plan to fail? You need to ask yourself that question. I was thinking about the end of last year, people that came to see us, and half of them will say, if I would have just come to see you a year ago, 3 years ago, when I started listening to you, it's crazy. It's also interesting. We're now having a lot of spouses come see us. Maybe the husband handles all the money. He's a huge risk taker. The spouse says, wait a minute, what about me? Are we going to have money when we retire? They don't understand. And, call us, set up an appointment. You both come see us. But I'm going to tell you is, if you don't know what your retirement looks like, whether you're the main income earner, the secondary income earner, maybe you're a housewife or a house husband. We're seeing that more and more, Jess. Call us. Let's figure out. But most of all, get started. Having time on your hands is everything.
Time on your hands is everything, and something about time is, it doesn't matter how much money you have. You can't buy any more of it, right? So you have to be proactive. Don't leave your head in the sand here, and don't put blinders on. Just because things are looking like sunshine and rainbows today, 2008 proved to us that within seconds things can change.
Jess, you're exactly right. You know what I tell people, and they're always shocked, is say you're going to retire in 10 years. Say you're 59 and a half. You can let that income roll up each and every year. Let's say at 9.5% guaranteed. We have, strategies where you can have that guaranteed roll up. And let me assure you, it's going to be higher than anything you could ever earn in the market. It's funny, Jess, over the years. Let's see, I started this when I was 25. Now I'm 61. Been doing this a while. People come in and they beat their chest how much money they have. It's not about how much money you have in retirement. It's how much income you can generate that's sustainable, that's predictable. Knowing that number, Jess, the numbers never lie.
Continuing here with our President Trump conversation here, he has promised to extend the so-called Trump tax cuts before they expire at the end of this year. And, of course, with that, he wants to roll out some other tax ideas into what he wants to call one big, beautiful bill. But there's one thing that could stand in his way. That, of course, is cost. Here is Liz Pancotti with the Roosevelt Institute on CNBC.
I think we have a really fragile economy, one that looks okay on paper, but the minute you lift up the hood, it's not great. Trump has proposed $10 trillion in tax changes on the campaign trail, between making the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act permanent and, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. $10 trillion is not something you can recover from a debt and deficit standpoint and from an inflationary perspective.
All right, so really, he can make all the promises in the world, but it sounds like the debates are really just happening now of what and when's going to happen here with these tax plans. But how can we take advantage of low tax rates today, Steve, so we avoid higher taxes in the future?
Jess, it's so important to have a tax strategy. People come to see us and they don't realize how much they're really paying in taxes and how they could be making contributions and lower their taxes. And if you're over 50, you can make a catch-up contribution and really save on your taxes. What I found, Jess, is the numbers never lie on taxes. So you need to think about taxes now with a great tax strategy. Then think about taxes in retirement and how you can have a tax-free retirement. It's possible. The Roth conversions are so huge. And, Jess, I really believe that taxes are on sale right now. I hope that Trump does like he says and makes those permanent, but who knows what's going to happen. There's all those little gotchas in those bills. But what I know today is taxes are on sale. What a great time to think about a Roth conversion where you convert your retirement monies and get the taxes out of the way instead of paying the taxes on them every year for the rest of your life. It's crazy. If you come in to see us at Hoyle Financial, we have these conversion packages. We can run the numbers and show you no matter what happens, these numbers are real, they're predictable, they're sustainable, and you know what taxes are going to be for the rest of your life. Jess, if you wipe those taxes out on your retirement, you can have tax-free income each and every month for the rest of your life. You can pass on tax-free dollars, but most of all, you can keep from getting your Social Security taxed because you get down there on a low tax rate. But it's planning. And I just think it's crazy how many people come to see us and say, oh, I've listened to you the last 3 or 4 years and I've never done anything. Today is the day. Procrastination is the cancer, the heart problem of retirement planning. It really is.
Yeah, no, I would 100% agree with you. And it often gets put on that to-do list. And then, more exciting things come up, planning a wedding, a family trip, what have you, the holidays. And all of a sudden, tomorrow never comes for income and retirement planning, much less tax planning. So, Steve, for those listening today that maybe they're interested in coming in and making sure that, tax planning is different than tax preparing, by the way. I know we're months away from the April 15th deadline here, but tax planning is something you should do all year round, right?
Absolutely. So many people have a great CPA, they have a great tax preparer, and we'll partner with them. But what they do are more compliance officers. What we do is show you options for your future to have a tax-free retirement or cut your taxes in half or do something so you'll have more money in retirement. Just think about cutting out 38%. Think about cutting that out. Thinking about having 38% more money each and every month. I mean, just do the math. It's crazy, the difference. It's up to you. But if you get started now and you have time on your side, we sit down with people and say, Jess, over the next 5 years, you can do this conversion and have those taxes wiped out. You don't have to do it at once. You can do it over 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. But having that plan, what I'm going to tell you, it's like a fulcrum. It's like having options on your side really helps define a great retirement.
Now, here's the deal. For over 40 years, public employees with a pension were limited to the amount of Social Security benefits they received. And that's, of course, until the now former President Joe Biden signed the Social Security Fairness Act, restoring those benefits. But, of course, it comes with a big price tag. Here's Alexis Christoforous of ABC News.
It is going to add $200 billion to the deficit. And remember, Social Security is already running at a $4 trillion deficit. In less than 10 years, by 2033, it's projected that the government will only be able to pay out 80% of benefits. Some are saying this new legislation may move that timeline up by about 6 months. But critics are saying that future seniors and taxpayers will pay the price for this new legislation.
So a few things here. Although now former President Joe Biden did sign that Fairness Act into law there, of course, Trump can do whatever he wants. He could overturn it. We know that Trump has talked about not taxing Social Security, which could, speed up that timeline of solvency here. Steve, what are your thoughts on this?
I just think it's crazy what could be the ramifications for it. On one side of the court, I think it's really unfair. In Texas, a lot of school teachers, the school districts do not participate in Social Security. And what they say is that Social Security is built into your pension. For example, say you have a school employee retiree getting Social Security and their spouse is alive. Well, they were married over 10 years and their spouse dies. You're entitled to 100% of that Social Security, it's whichever, if you were still married like that, well, you're not going to get it. You're going to get about $30 because it's that equation. So I really see that side of it. But we have to, again, come together as Americans, decide what's right, and put the rubber to the road and fund Social Security the way it was meant to be. I mean, we have to have the money for the future, Jess. My industry is really planning for this reduction in Social Security. We already have lots of strategies out that have, one in particular has a product. If Social Security is reduced by 3%, all of a sudden this huge rider kicks in that you can have as a part of your strategy. So it's real. It's being talked about. I think, Jess, it was really interesting to me during the election, and not to talk politics, but it really was not talked about a lot. And I thought before this election, it would be the hottest topic out there because the people that vote or used to vote in this country were retirees. This Social Security thing is crazy. I told people in my 20s, I was telling people, don't worry about this Social Security thing because the people that vote are the people that are going to control that. I don't believe that any longer. I do not believe that the Americans are going to control that. And I don't care if you vote blue, green, yellow, red, or purple. We as Americans need to make sure that that retirement money is there in the future. But just also, Social Security was never to be taxed. Never. And here, paying huge taxes on it. People come to see me all the time, and they're real smart, and they thought about these numbers, and they go, oh, listen, I'm going to have $3,800 a month in Social Security. It's going to fix the gap. What about the taxes? They'll say, Social Security's not taxed. Where'd you come from? Hold on. I've got a little thing in my drawer. Let you read. And just people are shocked when they realize it. So I just think, again, you've got a plan. But what I want to tell people today is you can't worry about Wall Street. You can't worry about Pennsylvania Avenue. But you sure can worry about what's happening on your street. You can have a plan. You can have a plan to make up that difference if Social Security is reduced. And, we're talking to our clients about that in Hoyle Financial. Whether you're in Austin, Texas, Amarillo, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, Midland, Texas, Odessa, Darrazette, Shamrock, Turkey, no matter where you are, we're talking to our clients about that and saying, we have to plan for that. And I just think it's one of the bullet points of our plan. Our strategy's made up not what I learned in finance school, not what Derrick learned with his background, not my other team members. It's what we learned with our clients. Successful strategies make successful retirees, and making sure you have enough money in retirement to get through retirement and then a legacy plan. That's what it's about.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Is, first and foremost, having that plan together. And look, Social Security, there's only so much we can do. If you're working and paying into it, great. And if you're relying on it in retirement, maybe kind of hold those cards a little closer to your chest because we don't know really where the future's going to go. If President Trump says, okay, no, it shouldn't be taxed, that sounds great, right? It's kind of a double-edged sword. Either it's going to be taxed, it's going to be there for longer, it's not going to be taxed. It could be insolvent even sooner. Then what do you do? How do you fill that gap? A lot of people wondering, well, what if Social's not going to be there at all? Well, it'll be there in some form or fashion, but really how reliable is it? This is where the Social Security Optimization Report comes in when you sit down with Steve or a member of the team. Let's run the numbers. And it really matters if, do you turn 65, 66 tomorrow? Are you 10 years away? Let's form a plan of how Social Security is going to be a part of that income plan. Steve, go ahead.
Absolutely. So for the first 5 callers today, call us because what I can show you is an income strategy. With Social Security, without Social Security, we can make sure that you have the income you need to get in retirement and through retirement. It's real simple, having that plan. And the earlier you get started, if you're 59 and a half today, you can take control of those monies today. So don't leave money on the table. Be street smart. Be smart about your street, not Wall Street. The monkey's on your back.
I thought this was interesting. The latest workplace buzz term with younger adults is something they like to call micro retirement. Get this, it's where they fight against the whole job burnout situation by taking a sabbatical. When I say sabbatical, I mean months, even years. They do all this to re-energize. How they're affording to do this, I don't understand, but they are. I'm wondering if this is kind of the same mentality that those that are about to retire have. I mean, is there a way to take retirement, I guess, quote, for a test drive, Steve?
Absolutely. You know what? Sitting down, doing an analysis, putting a plan together, and seeing what the numbers are. We can project your success in retirement, Jess. First of all, having that plan. But we can really look at those numbers and say, you know, are you a little bit short on what you need to contribute? Do you need to contribute a little bit more? You know, what do you need to do to fix the retirement gap, Jess? And, you know, it's interesting when people come see us, Jess, it happens all the time. The phone rings. It's a Friday afternoon. Hey, listen, I've been listening to y'all for the last 8 years. And, you know, I told my boss today I'm not going to be punching that clock on Monday. I'm gone. Okay, great. Well, we need to get started because it's going to take a while to turn some income on.
We should have got started a couple years ago.
Yeah,
but sure.
I mean, oh, didn't you call? You should have called us 3 years ago. But, you know, just no matter where you are in that process, the rubber's got to meet the road and you got to get started. So, but you know, when you think about retirement, it's interesting as we're talking about this in people's sabbaticals. What happens is people come to see us and say, I'm going to work 5 more years. When they realize a lot of them, how much money they have, what kind of life they could be living, they'll call us up and you know what? I've got this plan. I think we're going to go ahead and retire now. There are so many people out there, retirement age, that have not put that plan together, and it's just fear. You don't need to have fear. It all starts with, what does this one word mean on my statement? I don't understand this. I can't even print my statement off on the computer. Let us help you. But just partnering together to have that plan. You know what? Maybe it's time for you to take that permanent sabbatical and think about retirement.
You know, Steve, you're exactly right. Let's just common sense says it's a lot more fun to sit down and figure out what we're going to do on our family trip. Are we going to swim with the dolphins? We're going to go jet skiing. Are we going to go to the spa? Than it is to talk about, have we saved enough money? And then all the complications that come with retirement, you know, the discussion in general, taxes, Social Security, income, the market, all the things. So at the end of the day, for somebody that's listening to the show, maybe they've heard us for weeks, months, years, you name it. They're thinking about coming in and sitting down with you or a member of the team. Paint the picture of what that first meeting is like. I mean, is it as scary as what we think it is?
Absolutely, it's not, Jess. It's not scary at all. You know, we all have a different skill set. You know, somebody that's working on your elevator in your building has a different skill set than you do. Somebody that works on your car understands this technology that you don't understand. Well, what we understand is our formulas that we've used on retirees, for the retirees for the past 36 years. So it's not, you know, you just come in and we want to know what you know so we don't rethink that, but it's really starting together and painting a picture. You know, back in the early days when my 30s, Jess, I used to go, have you ever heard of TG&Y?
I have not. No.
Well, it's a dime store. And I had these white pieces of poster board. People would come to see me about retirement. We'd talk about the numbers a little bit. Then I'd send them home with that poster board and tell them to cut out magazines and do a storyboard about what they want to do. Now there's all kinds of apps on the computer to do that. But that's what retirement is when you come to see us. Let's talk about what your hopes, what your dreams, what your fears, and what you really want in retirement. That's what it's about. It's really us getting to know you and you getting to know us and make sure we're a fit. You know, Jess, I've worked with people, every religious affiliation, every political affiliation. I mean, all that doesn't matter. What matters is we put together something for you to be successful in retirement. It's really funny, Jess. A lot of people ask us, what do I need to wear to your office? Wear whatever you want to
What
wear.
do I need
It's
to wear?
crazy. I don't care what you wear. And what do I need to bring? We're going to send you a list, but we can do it in the order you want to. But I'm going to tell you, if you'll just bring some basics with you, we can get started. Or if you just want to talk and get to know us, let's get to know you, we can do that too. But what I'm going to tell you is most people want to use the time as the most productive they can. And, you know, I love to say that retirement is 25% about the numbers and 75% about the emotions. We're going to figure out what you, and if you have a spouse, they want to do in retirement. So those are congruent. It's important. I love talking about retirement, Jess. You know, it's holidays are hard for me because I lose a lot of clients during the holidays. It's just human nature, you know, and I look back on the people that we got started with. You know, we have people that we have 3 generations now of their family. All of them are clients of ours, and those stories and, you know, the difference that we made together, Jess, because what it really is a partnership. We're partnering to make sure you and your family have a wonderful retirement. It's interesting, in January, lots of people come in and say, you know, I was talking to my family and da-da-da-da-da, and it really makes people think about, you know, Jess, ask yourself, when you were sitting around the table with your family at Thanksgiving and Christmas, have you done what you needed to do to make sure they're safe for the rest of their lives as well? It's really a big question. It really is. You know, when you look at your spouse, do y'all have a will? Have you done your estate planning? Do you have a medical and financial power of attorney? Do you have a tax strategy? Do you have an income strategy? If you don't, let's just get started. You know, Rome wasn't built in a day, but it's really fun to build that. It's funny, human nature, Jess, I talk about this all the time, and Derrick laughs. But people come in, they come in different cars, and they sit across from the conference room. As we start coming together about numbers and the comfortable and uncomfortable things, they walk out and they hold hands. You know, I see it often. They'll sit out in the parking lot and lean up against one of the cars and talk for 20 minutes. But what talking about that money thing that's uncomfortable is, it creates positive communication. And you know what? In retirement, that's what it's all about.
If you'd like to sit down with Steve and Derrick or a member of the Hoyle Financial Group, visit retiretexasstyle.com.
Investment advice offered through Hoyle Wealth Management, a Texas-registered investment advisor able to provide investment advice in states where it's registered, exempt, or excluded from registration. Content contained herein should not be construed as an offer or solicitation for investment advice or for the purchase or sale of any security, insurance, or other investment product. Investments involve the risk of loss, including possible loss of principal. Please consult with a qualified financial, tax, accounting, or legal professional before implementing any ideas or strategies discussed here. Content provided is obtained from sources believed to be reliable but cannot be guaranteed as to its accuracy or completeness. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities offered through Steve Hoyle, Texas Insurance License 716036. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Steve Hoyle is not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if Steve Hoyle is licensed in your state, please call 806-371-9473.